We did start, I think we did a little bit better in the second segment for getting people to mix it up a little out there and talk directly to your opponent. I think it's important that people know the differences, not where you agree, but where you differ, those of you who have opposition. The people should be able to say, this person, stands for this and this person stands for that. In that case, the anti-business, pro-business thing is an important issue. I think it's been a long time since people have had clear choices in that area. I have to say that I have been at meetings where it has been said right out that this Bowie City Council is anti-business. So I'm glad, that you guys hit on that and that they had a chance to respond. I think that's one of the clear choices that people are going to have in the next election. I hope you'll get a little bit to the school issue, not because I think it's a city council subject, because it really isn't, but because it seems to be so much on people's minds. I think it would be beneficial to make clear to them what the city can and cannot do about that. I mean, I also want to say something about the council's response to citizens. I think with the possible exception of Dale Grant, I attend more city council meetings than anybody. I'm not trying to set a longevity record, however. When you say they did not respond to 5 people who got up and spoke, they may have heard from 30 others or 100 others some other way, by letter, by telephone, by running into them in the supermarket. They don't always have to, because 5 people stand up and talk at a council meeting, that doesn't mean that they should then change their position. And I don't think it's fair to make that kind of a judgment. They may just be using their own judgment, or they may indeed be respecting the voices of a larger group that they have heard from that don't come out to the council meetings. My time up? No. No. They're telling me no. I really do think that we need to hear not so much where you agree, but where you differ, and jump in. If Dick or Al doesn't call on you, you don't have to be disagreeable about it. Just jump in and say that you disagree, because I think it's important that people know those differences. Otherwise, how are they going to make their decisions? I know you don't want them to make up their minds by what they read in the newspapers, so tonight's your chance to tell them themselves, and that would be a really good thing. And, why don't you encourage them to do that? I think we probably hit highways as much as they need to be. Crime in the schools, if we could do that, next segment would be good, I think.
Well, thank you, Terry.
Okay.
Terry, thank you very much. We are going into a subject that Terry had mentioned, but before we do, I want to make this statement for those people who are watching who may wonder what authority you all have. It's understood, and most people know, that the mayor and city council of Bowie don't have the power and authority in most substantive governmental decision-making, particularly with schools. It's a county matter, and the best that we could hope that our city will be doing in this area, as they do in other areas that relate to the county and the state, is to serve as our lobbyists and advocates. They represent the people of Bowie before these groups as a unified force representing the views of the people. And so it's in that capacity, gentlemen, when we ask you questions that go beyond your authority and power as city councilman and mayor, that's the capacity, or that's the perspective in which we're approaching this. We know that you will be lobbyists for us or advocates. And Vic, I think you want to start questioning in one of those areas.
Well, all right. Crime in the schools has been mentioned as a subject by Terry, and that is something that I did want to get into. I think we have some differing views within the candidates with respect to crime in Bowie in general and crime in schools in particular. Now, I'd like to go to the campaign literature and identify certain statements. Now, Mr. Mayor, Dick Logue, tells about the accomplishments within Bowie, and one of the things he says is a safe and secure city. On the other hand, Mr. Oliver has made a major issue as part of his campaign literature to say that the quality of our life is threatened, our property values are threatened, the safety and peaceful enjoyment of our home community is threatened, and that he will ensure that there's adequate police protection, evidently making the point that there is not. So I'd like these two gentlemen to address those issues, why one feels Bowie is truly safe and secure, and the other to address the issue and how to keep it that way, and the other to address the issue that he's raised and what he would do, how he would make us more secure in our streets and in our schools. And first I'd like to go to the mayor.
Not quite let me understand the question. Are you asking me to address the schools also, or you asking me just to address the city outside of the school area?
At this point, you can address crime in general within the city as well as in the schools.
Okay. Because they're really two different things. I mean, they're two totally
take
different
them
subjects.
separately.
Well, let's talk about the city first. First of all, the stats, as given to us by the Prince George's County Police within the last 5-6 weeks, show that in the past year, the number of calls for police in the city of Bowie are down substantially, as are the number of burglaries and other crimes. It is also important to point out that in a county where we had 150 murders, next to the city, which is the murder capital of the world, where there was nearly 2,000 shootings, the city of Bowie had no murders in it. We are a city of 40,000 people. If people believe that there will be no crime with 40,000 people, I think they're asking for too much. I will invite anybody, anytime, just to view what they see in our community in the evenings in terms of seniors, couples, children out by themselves. There is no fear. There is no fear except for a few people in this community. In schools, let me address that because it's a different issue. I am gravely concerned, and I asked the council Monday night a week ago to send a letter to the Board of Education and ask them to come back to us with what program are you going to do so we can assure the people in our community that their kids are going to be safe in school. And they've done that. And I think that's our role, as you were talking about, Al, to take that leadership position to get the information back into the community so that people can at least see we're doing something. But don't believe because of 2 instances that Bowie High School is a bad high school. They just won the Outstanding Citizenship Award in the county, their grades. It continues to be one of the highest ranking high schools in the state of Maryland, and I think we can all still be proud of that.
Mr. Oliver.
Well, since you ended with education, I'll begin there. And I'm not proud of Bowie and Bowie High School. And I've had people, friends in Montgomery County, that were shocked when they read the front page story about guns in our high school. Now, the important thing, though, that we've got to do, and I talked to Conrad Koch about this, and he thinks community involvement is going to be an answer for us to help change that problem. It's there. It's some initiatives by the county executive. I think we should take a role of influence, as Dick did. His letter, I was just tickled to death to hear that they wrote this letter to the county board, school board. But he recommends more community involvement, more adults in the school, and I believe so too. More identification of mentors, adult mentors in this community that can go into the high school. Educators want that and they welcome that. We need to do a better job of it. We need also to work with education to determine, let them know what kind of industry skills that we anticipate we're going to be needing.
All right. But
and
I'd
the
like
crime on the streets.
All right. You say sad but so. Drug
It is sad but so, Dick, and I'll tell you what, we are better off than anybody else in this county. Now, we're slipping though, and where we're slipping is the fact that these issues were ignored. The newspaper wrote headline stories. I don't like to hear that stuff. I might want to move from this community someday, and I want that eliminated when I'm ready to move. Unfortunately, people that are moving in the community now that might be buying a house here read the same story I did. Now, this is the difference.
Well,
we've got to open our drug market in Old Bowie. Tonight, there was local citizens out there, my wife and sons out there putting up placards. Major Shanks and I talked about this, and he said, that's
Mr. Oliver,
exactly
I have to shut you off. We have to give other people a chance